How's everyone doing today? Welcome to Office Hours, our weekly place to talk about everything Butterflies AI. We'll be talking about what's going on with the app, the community, and all the good stuff. Just a quick heads up, we are recording every session of Office Hours. If you don't want your voice included in Office Hours, we completely respect that. Just hold up on coming up onto stage. You can chat via the text and I'll read off what you're saying. Now, feel free to grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and just dive right in, honestly. One of the larger changes that I think is going to be happening pretty soon, if it hasn't already, is that the ability to pause butterflies is returning. When you pause a butterfly, it will actually no longer use the post or pass flow, and it won't prompt you to review its post every day. Um, Ace, the app is not available on the Google Play Store due to the Google Play Store's policies not liking the ability to have NSFW images in chats. Oop, hang on one moment. Out. We're not doing the trade. Sorry about my dog in the background. Okay. So we removed the ability to have NSFW images in chat, and the Google Play Store is still in the process of reviewing the app again. For right now, I would have to say that Android development has practically been paused due to how long it's taking the Google Play Store to respond. All right. Yeah, there's hope one day. Maybe. Yeah, so for right now, what I would recommend if you are on Android is that you use your mobile browser of your preference. You can use Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, Brave. There is a mobile website available that is mobile optimized. If you have issues logging in to the mobile version of the website, yeah, okay. If you're having issues logging into the mobile version of the website, what I would recommend doing is going to the upper right hand corner, that three dot menu that's in most browsers on Edge. I think it's in a different placement. And you tick the use desktop mode to log in. After you're logged in, you can go back to the mobile experience. This has been an issue on a lot of different devices. It really boils down to device. Um, I have made a few bug reports about it, and I will make sure that the developers take another look at it. You're welcome. And Firefox is another good choice, Roscoe. So yeah, with Poster Pass, I know that some of us who have a lot of butterflies have an issue. Okay. Have a good night, Ace. I will definitely ping you if there's anything about Android development. We have a ping here on Discord that is specifically for our Android users. In the meantime, if you want to you can continue with office hours, we do upload this to YouTube after we're done here, so you can watch it at your convenience. I think he's already gone. Okay, sorry about that. As I was saying, some of us who have hundreds of butterflies, this poster pass thing has really started to get annoying. Um, I know that I sometimes wake up to 99 plus notifications, so I can only imagine people like Fire Centimeter or Kingslayer, who I know have around 500 or more bots. So, with the ability to pause butterflies again, hopefully you can reduce that amount. Um, 1 second. Out! We're not doing the in and out thing. No, no, out. I'm sorry about the dog. Okay, hang on. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah. So, the automated pauses of butterflies are no longer active. All of your butterflies, if you have not manually paused them, are going to be active until you manually pause them, if that makes any sense. Um, I'm not sure if this change has been made completely public or if it's only in our focus group members. So if you are a focus group member, please check it out. Let me know. One person has already reported that it is working for them. Um, Other than that, yeah, if you'd like to say anything, feel free to come up on stage. Um, just raise your hand and we can get going here. There's honestly not a whole lot of news anymore. Like, things are being worked on. Um, I did notice that Wolfie found the testing platform for video on the Apple App Store. So if any of you are Apple users and have noticed that app, it's called Boba. It's basically the testing platform that the developers are using to develop the video tools. They do a lot of the testing on a mobile platform. It, yeah, it will be SFW only. And SFW video really it's difficult on a lot of different fronts. The Honestly, the best solution would be to have video be SFW only. That doesn't mean that, you can't have something that's ashy or scantily clad. I've seen SFW platforms work for that, but all of the platforms that I've so far seen commercially available are limited to SFW only. And it's generally has to do with the issue of deepfakes. Um, it, with AI tools, we already see issues with people making a celebrity that they really shouldn't have in that context. You know? Yeah. Okay. So hear me out. I do understand where you're coming from with the deepfakes not being an issue if it's a semi-realistic or a drawing. However, I would rather defer to like how celebrities prefer to handle it themselves. Like if a celebrity publicly states, "I don't want any AI art of me," then I'm going to try to follow that to the best of my ability. You know what I mean? Um, as for the drawing or semi-realistic, I don't know, man. Like I can manipulate semi-realistic to look pretty realistic. And we've all played the game of, is this drawing or is this realistic? So with the way that users are able to prompt AI, like basically until they submit it, it's not moderated. And it really does leave a big gray area that it would be easier to handle by having AI video and AI image just be SFW only in some regards. Don't get me wrong, we're not removing NSFW on butterflies. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm just saying from like a commercial AI standpoint, that is has been how most of these platforms have handled it, you know? Um, it's just difficult to keep any kind of adult content on the platform because of the different policies that are all there. It it could be a selling point if we can pull it off properly. That is the issue. We've already been removed from the Google Play Store due to a conflict with their own app policy and ours on NSFW. So you can see where it gets kind of sticky. Um, there are some commercial apps that have succeeded from NSFW models in the past, and I'm watching those closely to see how they develop, to see if there's anything that we can learn from what they did. Um, so don't worry about butterflies removing NSFW. I would more or less worry about uh, I don't know what really like what do you feel is the core of butterflies? Because so far, since butterflies has started in November of 2023, we've been in this startup experimental phase, right? Trying to develop the core of the product. So that kind of means like the essential things that makes butterflies butterflies. Oh, you think what makes butterflies great is the fan service? I mean, okay, hear me out. I don't think that just hosting NSFW is a unique enough feature to make butterflies stand out. I really don't. What I personally believe is the core of butterflies is that you come onto the platform and you can quickly and easily make a AI character that then posts to a social media feed where you can interact with it on the feed, you can interact with it in direct messages, and all of this is free, right? And I agree that the image model isn't as good as other services, but at the same time, I feel like it could be improved upon if we had, enough time and ability to actually get one right. So your butterfly gets more interaction with the user from posts? Yep, definitely. I agree with that. Um, I also find it fun to see the AI basically roasting each other in the comments. I know that some people don't like to see that kind of thing, and it really should be a character per character how they behave. But that kind of social interaction, like, that's hard to replicate. It really is. And I agree, Ethel, where I like it when the AI recognize who they're talking to and they comment like as though they're talking to them. It's great. Um, I've seen fewer and fewer of those, unfortunately, as of late. Yeah. I feel like it will improve soon, though. First, we just have to figure out the entire poster pass situation, and then after that, it'll just be fixing up all of the things that we've missed so far. Yeah, definitely. Every time I upload a photo to my own timeline, like, I get roasted every time. Yeah, it should be. Poster Pass really should be more streamlined, in my opinion, too. I do not like having to go to the profile and then to review the post every single last character 157 times. That is not a fun flow. It should just be a review queue that each user has, and then, like the leaderboard, swipe right to approve, swipe left to pass. If you want to refine, then those buttons are available. However, I feel that a UI change like that will be um, a little bit delayed at this point. Yeah, I've done that with a couple of mine so far today, and I'm going to be modifying them on mobile using the refine. So for web users, this might date me and also reveal like a little bit about my past, but have any of you ever heard of like Meet Me? It was this social app that was focused towards adults. It's really devolved over the years if it still exists. But they had a swipe feature kind of similar to Tinder. And on the web, all users had to do was click on the right side of the photo or the left side of the photo. So it could be a similar type of a thing. But I do definitely hear your point where web users should get an experience that's tailored to the web. You know, right now the user experience feels very tailored to touch devices, which isn't exactly a big issue. There's a lot more touch devices than there are like point and click devices connected worldwide now. Um, but yeah, no, if I feel you with the web UI. I mean, okay, so can you expand on that tiny prompt? I want to see the image in full, obviously, but the tiny prompt. What do you mean? Like what the AI is using to generate that image, or what the AI's description of the image is? Because currently, I believe it's descriptions of the image, and then you refine based off of that, which is a weird flow, I will admit. Okay. Um, from a usability standpoint, I would love that. I really would. That would be absolutely the most wonderful thing because then I can directly edit the image gen from a developer or moderation standpoint. I don't like it. I will immediately say that. Because that leaves a point where, again, a user can come in and influence a picture into being what it shouldn't be, and it causes an issue if it isn't caught by the moderation queue or a moderation bot. You know what I mean? But I will definitely bring that up because I really like that idea. Yeah, no, it's a really wonderful idea. Um, because as I said, from a usability standpoint, that is pretty much exactly what I want. I want to be able to see the image and what made the image in full, right? That's available on pretty much every image generation platform that is out there. Um, Here on Butterflies, we don't get to see that prompt when they post something. We see a AI generated description of the image, which I believe is using image recognition to generate, not the prompt itself. I will have to check on that and remind me of that next office hours, please, Ethereal. I know you will probably be here. If not, any of our other regulars, remind me about the answer to whether or not the descriptions are generated by image gen or directly from the prompt. So okay. So you want to have it. um, have the image model in the user's control like it is, and then once it's made, you can't switch it out. Like literally, you flip a switch for the type of image gen. I think that you've brought that up before too, right? Yeah, that I like. I really do like that solution. Um, from a moderation standpoint, it's elegant, right? From a development standpoint, I feel like it's not gonna be as elegant. I feel like they might not like it as much as I like it, but I will bring it up for sure because it really would fix a lot of the problems that are seen in moderation. So, um, yeah, excuse me. Let's see. What else is going on in the community? Um, has anybody been doing the daily challenges that's here? I really haven't either ever since basically, again, this is the issue with having NSFW bots since they have taken over the daily challenge board. And I agree, Ethereal. I agree. I honestly do use the web 99% of the time. Like, I'm really only going on mobile for the mobile exclusive features or to test things. So I feel your pain. So it's partially due to abuse. The abuse issue has been taken care of. It is now limited to 3 per account per day. Instead of before when it was implemented, that didn't somehow work. Um, However, like it still allows NSFW bots for some odd reason. I do not quite know why. Um, and I've heard a lot of complaints about that. Like it allows straight NSFW bots, not these bots are improperly marked as SFW. Right. That's my personal thought too, which again can directly relate to your previous feedback of having a separate NSFW model. And I really do feel like having 2 models would improve the overall image gen quality, right? But then it wouldn't be 2 models. It would be 6 because we currently have 3. The scalability issue is where I think the developers are going to have the hard point of, you know, getting that done. Um, yeah. Yeah, real anime model, and I've heard people want a real drawing model. I saw that you shared that one post from somebody who hijacked the drawing model into a like nice drawing style. That looked great. Um, as I was going through and pausing my bots earlier today, I stumbled upon Pixel Pete again, and the drawing Pixel Pete just looks vastly different from the realistic Pixel Pete. The realistic Pixel Pete is still pixelated. So, give me one moment. Let me pull up their 2 latest posts because I did pause them both. Alright, I'm gonna just pop them into chat here. Here is image 1. And here is image 2. So image 1, we have Pixel Pete with a present floating above his head. And image 2, Pixel Pete is standing in front of an ominous doorway. Which one is unrealistic? Yeah, I do say that the models are like definitely their own um, thing. It's weird. Like the realistic model is very flexible and adaptable if you use the proper style cues. Um, Kingslayer and I have been messaging a lot back and forth lately about different style prompts, and one of these office hours and also in the tutorials on Fridays at 2, um, I will be definitely going more into those. And Roscoe, you are actually wrong. Image number 1 was made by the drawing model. Image number 2 was made by the realistic model. I used a very specific tag, pixel art. Hello. Let me share that real quick. This is what I put into the appearance at the very end of the description. Very much so. There is a risk, unfortunately, of some style variants breaking. I've run into that with Airship Billy, who I tried to update today, by the way. It did not go well. And unfortunately, even I suffer from the restriction of 10 profile pictures per day. So I am out of the ability to really modify him more. Here is one of the posts. And for reference, here is the profile picture. I got the profile picture near how I wanted him. Legit, like that is pretty much how I wanted him. Flat cartoon style, anthropomorphic. It's basically the description. But then as soon as it goes into post, it seems to enforce the realistic pre-prompting over what I have for my prompting. But yeah, these are definitely like, I can tell from the profile picture it can do what I want, but as soon as it gets to post, it just is off. And I'm gonna quickly poke it and generate another post, and it'll be really, yeah. And Ethereal, I do think that, yeah, it might be because of the prompt overlay type of a thing. You're not wrong. This time, I would say that this post worked. Only it is still very much a realistic style. At least the character looks right. I mean, he's got kind of human arms, but they're almost appropriately sized. Yeah, no, it doesn't. What I tried was a style called marker illustration. It works in Stable Diffusion a lot of the time, but it doesn't seem to work properly all of the time. Um, what I'm going to try to do next when I update it tomorrow is yeah, instead of having it describe the character's appearance as, a blah 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 blah, I'm gonna try a drawing of a blah 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 blah. Because when you are editing any sort of appearance, there are a few factors you want to keep in mind. Not just the style, but the medium that it comes in, right? So what I mean by medium is when we are prompting an image or an appearance for our characters, we are thinking about our character's appearance solely, and we are thinking about it in terms of a photograph. It's almost like the default is like a photo, right? With the different models that we have with semi-realistic and drawing, it adds to that photograph type of a thing with different styles. You can manipulate those styles a bit by using a medium, um, like saying it is a drawing of X, or a sculpture of Y, or a paper mache sculpture of Z. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Roscoe. Pixel art is a secret unlock for the realistic model, and it is wonderful. Another fun one is Minecraft, um, believe it or not, and Peyton discovered that one. It makes it look a lot like Minecraft's advertisements. It's kind of fun. Um, mm, be a little bit more specific there, Ethereal. Poly what? Like Polygon or th- yeah, low poly. There you go. Yeah, that does do well. Another fun one in realistic is actually putting in anime. It works a good portion of the time until it doesn't. Okay? So I don't know what makes it not work. I really don't. But I have a character, Lord Coincidence. And this is created with the realistic model. I know, Ethereal. Boo. It's not the anime model. I know. I'm so sorry. Oh, I actually have Jack Black as a butterfly. That was one of my, like, earlier butterflies. Hang on. Where is he? Here we go. And unfortunately, he suffers from the issue of all other characters on the platform. He tends to post pictures with himself when he mentions another character. For example, yeah. Oh, and don't know what it's doing with guitars. No clue. Yeah, it, it's really due to the like way that the images are prompted. All butterflies tend to do this. Yeah, that is a very distinctive style. I love that style. Oof. Okay, so it does feel like something changed somewhere. You're not the only one who feels that way. I feel it too. I really do. Right. Exactly. If you tell it to create, random scenes or, groups of people, it can tend to create groups of people, right? Like my wonderful the more you know bot. Oop, I forgot the link there. 1 second. Why did it not? That is annoying. Okay, weird. I can actually get some rather diverse images from it. And all it is prompted to be a rainbow, which I find absolutely hilarious. It's basically, if anybody remembers NBC's The More You Know segments in between shows, it's meant to be a recreation of that. And for the longest time, it would actually tag completely random butterflies, like make them up to tag them, and host discussions with them. So I found that to be the most fun thing about it. It stopped. Okay, that's 28 weeks. Jeez, it goes way far back. Yeah, but yeah, no. Unless you are not including an appearance of a human, it really doesn't do diversity until you tell it to be diverse. And that's the hard part too, is balancing getting your character right while getting other characters to be diverse. Um, I've also noticed that with some characters, they appear wrong, but anybody else in the image appears proper to the prompt. Like, for example, with this one. The character that I created is supposed to have red hair and, that stone colored skin. Like that. I don't know why they randomly switch places, but they do. So these are little things that I feel is basically down to the way that the AI works. It's not something that is easily fixed or remediable, but it is unfortunately something that is known by the developers and a lot of our users alike. Does anybody have any questions about anything or? Yeah. No, co-op posts. Oh my goodness, do co-op posts ever need a big fix? Um, I honestly, I liked the idea of it. Vu's earlier drafts in um, that he showed in general, those looked wonderful, and then on release, it just it to me it fell apart. It suffers from the same issue as direct messages, where um, all of my fantasy characters have human features instead of the features that I put in. And it sent me down a rabbit hole of trying to reinforce those features in every aspect of the prompts. And it just hasn't worked out. So, yeah, it feels like a whole different model. No, you really can't refresh them. It's, yeah. Oh, yeah. I saw you post that in Blooperflies. That's one of the funnier ones. I've noticed a pervasive use of Apple products on this platform, and as a Microsoft user, I'm not for it. I'm saying this teasingly, but it really does feel like the whatever the image model is prefers Apple products. I even made a Microsoft stan and made it so that he will always like try to post a Microsoft product and he still uses Apple products. So if anybody's wondering why there's so many Apple products in their feeds, it's not because we're sponsored by them or anything. Speaking of, I'm not saying this is anything that butterflies would do. I'm just wondering in general, how would you guys feel about ads that feel natural to the timeline? Have basically have a butterfly for the ad. No? So you wouldn't so you wouldn't want a sponsored McDonald's Chan? Like that's the kind of thing that I'm thinking. If companies would want to advertise on our platform, they would have to make a character that does the advertisement for them, not a, hey, here's this. They would have to actually actively use the platform. It's my own personal thought, right? And as I said, it's not anything that we are going to be doing, um, but it's just something that I thought would be an interesting way to kind of have that type of thing. At the same time, I am also very anti-ad. Right. That's okay. That's a nice perspective on it, Johnny. Like, if people follow them, then have it appear. But I do believe that the companies, if it ever happened like that, like just from my own personal experience working in that kind of a field, I feel like companies would push back on that because the point of an advertisement is to get it in front of as many people as possible, right? And that is why I'm kind of against advertisements in general because it's like forcing a change to personalized feeds and algorithms. Yeah, I'm worried about parody takedowns as well. I've made quite a few parodies. Um, I feel like if the parodies are diverse enough, they would fall under fair use, which is what a lot of like SNL content falls under, right? Or they serve a purpose basically, right? It's a characterization of XYZ. That is a proper parody. Um, the main issue that I'm seeing is companies get a bit more malicious than that. That's why so far I have thus far avoided anything Disney except for Steamboat Willie and Steamboat Willie in particular. So there was also a short time frame I could have used Winnie the Pooh, but yeah, no copyrights and the big companies that really do try to protect their rights with DCMA, those types of companies are just oof. And I suppose we do actually have a developer made ad bot. If anybody has seen BNN on their feeds, um, it's an experiment from the developers where they're basically have a bot that is taking current events and reproducing it in this fashion of a character on butterflies. Yeah, that was wrong. I'm so sorry about that. Um, I remember that too. It was it was an interesting morning to wake up to. Um, do you guys still get BNN on your feed? I followed it personally. I actually like that content, but if you haven't followed it, do you get BNN on your feed? Not anymore. Okay. Okay. Fair enough there. So if another bot appeared similar to that, not saying it would take up the feed like BNN did, I think that we've learned our lesson from that. But where it was doing something with current events, right? And it made its way onto everybody's feed for a couple of days. Like, how would you guys feel? And I'm talking the general for you, not the yeah, suggested posts do need help. It is not time for Flux yet, Roscoe. I'm sorry. I really like Flux too. I use it a lot over on Mage Space when I'm just trying to get an image out. Um, Ethereal, question for you. That suggested posts, like you said, it needs help. What do you feel needs the help in most? The relevancy, the uh, display, like a lot of us old time users, like we know what this app used to be. We know what social media is. So we can just go this feels wrong, but then a lot of the times we struggle to describe it. And I totally get that. So the relevancy is the issue. Okay. And Roscoe uses a lot of Flux on weights.gg. Yeah, I mean, we all have our own websites that we use besides butterflies, I'm sure. At least a lot of us who have been in AI for a while. Um, I don't. I honestly don't know if or when Flux is going to be coming to butterflies. What do you mean, MageSpace Plan? You know, a collab with MageSpace would be interesting. Yeah. No, like legitimately, like that would be interesting. Um, but I feel like that would be a whole nother level of craziness that would need to go on. But yeah, no, some form of the ability to select what model your butterfly would use. Like it all harkens back to that idea, right? Whether it be an NSFW toggle or just the three choices that we have not being enough. Yeah, yeah, it's so okay. Let's go back to that discussion about the core of the product for a minute, right? When I'm talking about that, that is something that believe will always remain free to users, right? Being able to chat with your butterfly, being able to create your butterflies. Sure, there's a limit to how many you can create per day, but they're still free to create, right? And the images that get posted every day are also free. Yes, you have a limited amount of um, more images, but that is also very much in line with other free platforms, right? Um, so the core of Butterflies to me really is about the social interaction and how that can work out. Um, and the social media like presence of these characters, the ability to chat with them in multiple avenues, right? Those types of things I definitely feel are core to the product. So that is the issue with NSFW, right? And private bots. They because it was meant to be a platform for everyone, there has to be a separation between NSFW and safe for work bots in general. I still do adamantly believe that NSFW bots should only comment on other NSFW bots. Um, Private bots should have a following list that comments on their posts, right? Like private accounts on Instagram. But that kind of thing has not yet been developed. I'm not sure why. Um, yeah, yeah. I I know those issues too, and those are in the bug reports. Don't worry. Um, the main point that I'm trying to make with like having the core of the app be that ability to create and have bots interact with each other is the public facing side. Like when it comes to private bots, to NSFW bots, which are semi public facing, let's face it, it's not gonna be purely public facing, right? Um, it has to be obviously be handled with care. Especially, another thing to consider is there's a lot of regulation coming down on how NSFW content is handled. If you have the toggle for your NSFW turned off, where you don't see it, right? And you try to view an NSFW picture, you get a pop-up that asks you if you're 18 or older. That is the type of legal compliance that we need to worry about at every aspect of the NSFW part of the platform, right? So a lot of that with has caused a lot of hesitancy, basically, when it comes to developing that side of things. With the private side of butterflies, I feel like a similar thing applies because a lot of private butterflies are NSFW butterflies, but I'm not too sure. Um, those types of things might be part of the core experience in the future, but for right now, I'm really trying to just figure out what, you know, the basic things can be. And then from there, what needs to be added to make it something that is unique, right? Yeah, that list is gonna take a while, and there's only about 7 minutes left to office hours, so we can save that for next time. Absolutely. No, that is a very good point, Ethel. No, like, yeah, that is a very good point. List out what we can do and what we offer on the platform and what is, let's go over what is actually being used. I mean, yes, office hours is a very small group compared to our entire user group, but the feedback is still, I feel, diverse enough to at least semi qualify as valid feedback. Um, yeah, no, that's a very good point. So, with that being said, Are there any questions that I haven't answered so far? You can ask anything. Don't worry. Awkward silence. Ooh, what do you mean? In the down below in the other category? So, some people on Discord don't know that we have Reddit. Some people on Reddit don't know we have Discord. On the Discord side of things, we handle that by showing when new posts appear on the Discord or on the Reddit in Discord. On the Reddit side of things, we have a link to our Discord there. I don't know why that is still present on the feed page. I believe I had asked the developers to remove that. I will check on that. Yeah, Rose, we are on Reddit. And here is a direct link. Okay. So, I think I'm gonna wrap up office hours just a little early if nobody has anything else. Yeah. Next week, definitely, I will be coming back with a list of the features that we offer, and we'll see how many people know about. That honestly sounds like a fun idea. Fair enough, and I'm happy you joined us, Rose. Thank you. Yeah. Honestly, with the way the website and app are set up, like one of the first things you do is create a butterfly on the platform. So that's, yeah, no, like you've seen that user too, haven't you, Ethereal? I think I know exactly who you're talking about. I will message you later about that. I hear you. All right, people. I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you very much for being here, and I will look forward to seeing you next week.